free to submit this quick poll. Yeah, Piyush, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Uday. Thanks, Sid. Let me just share my screen. Uday, let me know once you see my screen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen and your voice is also
Yeah.
pretty clear.
Okay, so
Okay.
we'll just end the poll now and then you continue
Okay,
with
let's
this.
end the poll first. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Just a minute. So Piyush, this is for you. I think everybody can see. So you can see there are around 22% people are very well familiar with VCF, whereas 65% people are somewhat familiar, and there are still 13% people who have never heard about VCF. So probably you can give a little pitch about how to start with. And I think we all are clear, most of the people are clear about the stack, what all is the part of VCF, similarly to the building block, which we call for multi-cloud and hybrid. So with that, you
Okay.
can go ahead with your presentation. Please change the screen. It is in a presentation presenter mode. So switch over.
Sure. Okay, so you guys can see my PPT?
We can, but I think you need to change the presenter view. You need to switch over to the different screen.
Okay.
No, just do that switch slide.
Yeah, just hold on. No, not better. Let me change my screen sharing.
Piyush, can you click on slideshow?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
No, you can change that.
Yeah, click on slideshow.
Yeah.
And then
there.
the same option which you have clicked earlier as well.
This one?
Yeah, this one.
Yes.
Now, yeah, click on this.
You can also press F5. That also gives the same result.
No, something changed.
Okay, I think that's fine. We can also.
Okay,
yeah,
just hold on.
This view is also good. No issues. Yeah.
Hold on. Is it better?
Yeah, this is exactly the
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, guys. I think Uday has already informed. I mean, given details about what the Expert Tech Talk is and how we come here. Basically, we want to give a platform where rather than discussing, what product is, what it is capable of, and all those things, which basically an overview of a product. We decided, so for our community, we have chat with multiple people, and they ask that they are looking for something where we can exactly share what they use in their day-to-day life. So on that format, we came up with the idea of VExpert Tech Talks. So this session we will not be talking about 100 of PowerPoint slides telling about the features of product. We will be exactly looking into what product can do for you guys. Okay, and for in a day-to-day life, what you do as an admin for that particular product. So in first session, we are going to cover VCF, for which there was a huge demand. And again, my name is Piyush Saraf, and I'm a senior consultant at VMware. Let's start with it. So just, I don't want to take too much PPT, but yeah, just to explain what the agenda is going to be. We are going to discuss about VCF, what it is for the, we have, 30% of some people who are not aware about VCF. So I'll try to bring them up to the board with other guys who knows what VCF is, but are looking for advanced knowledge, how to deploy it, what are the glitches in the architecture and design part of it. And then after we'll go to deployment, lifecycle management, we realize suit on VCF and Tanzu with VCF. Again, these things we will not be able to cover in a day. Probably this may get into multiple sessions, but we will keep on continuing where we left off. So today I'm going to start with, what is exactly VCF. And yeah. So in a traditional SDDC, can you guys see my paint?
Yeah, we can see. Yeah.
Okay. So in a traditional SDDC, what we are doing right now, we are having multiple components, right? We have a vCenter, we have NSX, we have vSAN for storage, or say VCF, fiber channel or anything. And with this traditional storage, we are creating a SDDC stack. The problem here is we are managing the life cycle of each and every component independently. And the deployment part is very cumbersome. So VMware has provided this solution, which basically is doing automation of every part of your software-defined data centers. It is a one-touch deployment. And imagine a scenario where you get a developers asking, hey, we need a new vCenter environment where there will be a new vCenter, and there are going to be 20 ESXi hosts with 2-3 cluster, and the networking will be this, and we need it by Tuesday, and they inform you on Monday. Would it be possible in that sense to provide the environment just the another day? Right? It's very hardly possible, right? With VCF, what we are trying to achieve is we are going to give you a one-touch automation where you can deploy entire stack with all the prerequisites of your environment, and with that you will be able to give give a new environment to your teams as and when required. Okay, so VCF is nothing, a platform which automates the deployment of entire VMware tools. It also includes vRealize and also Tanzu. So as mentioned in agenda, we will also be covering this day probably in day 2, our next session of it. But today I will try to clear out some doubt on what exactly is, architecture of VCF, how is it deployed, what is, components, initial component of VCF. Okay. So yeah, let's start. Ideally, we have, in VCF basically it's divided. VCF is basically divided into two major components. One is Cloud Builder. And the other is SDDC Manager. So this is kind of a chicken and hen theory where people come, how come, Cloud Builder comes first or SDDC Manager comes first. So, and then vCenter, what comes first, okay? So when we start initial deployment of VCF, what we have is you initially you have your planning and preparation workbook, which is available. I will share the links of each and everything during the session or after the session. Okay, probably after the session, I'll share it. So you go through planning and preparation workbook. What this workbook exactly contains is, okay, planning and preparation workbook, you can download from the different link for VVD. So we have VCF is just a automated version of VVD. VCF, VMware has given the best practices to deploy any kind of environment, but as per VMware recommendation, right? So that should be an ideal scenario that this is how VMware want your environment should be. Again, following those hundreds of validation steps and deploying an environment like that, it's hardly possible, right? With VCF, you are going to automate your entire deployment and you are following the best practices guided by VMware, recommended by VMware. So I have some of the links which I'm going to share in chat. So you guys can also keep for your reference. So this is planning and preparation workbook. Basically, this contains all the details about what networking you are going to use. And this comes before you are going to deploy VCF or anything. This will be your planning step. This will give you an idea about, what kind of network you are going to use, how much networks will be required. And this is again free to download. You guys can click the links and download it. Let me show you once. All right. So if we go through this link, it has all these, this Excel file, all the prerequisites that are required. What will be your management domain sizing? Again, this terms I will use more in the part on the part when I discuss the exact VCF component. Okay. Guys, you can interrupt in between when you have any doubt. Okay. And yeah, so we use the planning and preparation workbook, which contains, all the components in which includes, 10G requirement, realize suite requirement, and any other component that we are going to deploy. That is out of VCF, but it's helpful for anyone going to deploy any VMware validated design. Now we are coming back to VCF. VCF has two components called Cloud Builder and SDDC. What happens? You have a Cloud Builder. Now this is an OVA. Okay. Say you already have any environment which is having vSphere running, you can deploy this OVA on it. If you do not have, it is a complete new site. It is a greenfield environment. You can utilize a fresh ESXi box which you have procured for your new deployment and deploy OVA on that ESXi. And from that ESXi OVA, once it is deployed, Cloud Builder is accessible. Okay, which I'll show you live after a few minutes. Okay, once Cloud Builder is accessible, Cloud Builder asks you to provide, again, a workbook that is deployment parameter sheet. Okay, the deployment parameter sheet basically contains all the details for your environment, the exact IP, everything required for your deployment for vCenter IP, NSX IP, or whatever is requirement for VCF. That you will fill in all the details. Once those details are filled into it, you will upload it back to Cloud Builder. And once it is updated to Cloud Builder will validate each and every part what you have filled, except if you have done a typo mistake or IP mistake, that cannot be validated by Cloud Builder. But there are requirements like, your DNS, NTP, and everything are in place or not. Okay. Apart from that, there are requirements for ESXi, SSH is enabled or not. Yeah, we need SSH as enabled, but with 4.3 and 2, even I think we can disable after the deployment. It was a demand by customers that why we are keeping it enabled. With 3.x, if any of you guys have seen 3.x, we have to keep it enabled all the time. So this was one of the security issue. Again, and then you have VDS, standard switch. And in a standard switch, you should have, VNIC 0 with management network, obviously. And one VM network with the same VLAN tagged as your management network. Okay, so there are various requirements for that. We fill all the details in Cloud Builder. We prepare our ESXi box as per the requirement of the sheet, and which you can also get online what exactly all requirements are. But basically on an overview front for ESXi, these 2 or 3 NTP, DNS, SSH, reverse NTP, reverse DNS, and everything is working fine. And you also try to log into Cloud Builder SSH once it is deployed and try to, you do an NTP query. The command is specifically NTPQ, and then, NS lookup and all other things, DIG or whatever works from Cloud Builder. See, everything is resolvable. All your, NSXT DNS, your vCenter DNS, and everything. With 4.c, with 4.x, we have vSphere 7.0. And with vSphere 7.0, you do not have external PSC. Those who are working in 3.x environment, they might be seeing an external PSCs. Also, 2 PSCs are getting deployed along with their vCenter. Okay, so initial configuration will be, you have 4 ESXi hosts. You are tagging it with all the VLANs that you are required. I will talk about the VLANs, what all VLANs are required. And I'll also let you know how is it more easier now with 4.3. We have made it more easier. earlier, see, so Cloud Builder will deploy your management domain. Now VCF deploys Cloud Builder. Cloud Builder in turn deploys vCenter, that is for management domain. Okay. VCF is divided, the concept is divided into two workload domain. One is called management workload domain. The other one is called VI workload domain. So management workload domain is something that you do not touch apart from your management component. And then VI workload domain is something where your exact compute goes on, your actual environment, your VMs and everything. Management will contain all the vCenter, and when you create a new VI workload domain, you create a new vCenter. Okay, and for first VI workload domain, you also create an NSXT manager. Okay, those will be three managers, highly available for every deployment. And when you create management workload domain, you deploy vCenter, you deploy NSXT again, 3 VMs. Okay, these all will be deployed through the Cloud Builder automation. Now, let's first show you the Excel sheet for Cloud Builder. This Excel sheet, ideally when you deploy an OVA of Cloud Builder, you reach the Cloud Builder, and then you can, when you log in into Cloud Builder, which whatever password you have provided during the deployment, you can log in into Cloud Builder and download this sheet. Okay. Apart from that, you can download it directly for your particular version. If you are deploying 4.2, go to myvmware.com, download the sheet for 4.2. This will help you, prepare your environment before even starting anything. Okay, so it will give you more time rather than waiting for your Cloud Builder deployment. So one suggestion would be to get it downloaded, but it should be same as your environment. You cannot use the deployment parameter sheet of 4.1 to 4.2. Don't do that, you will be in trouble. Okay, so initially this Cloud Builder sheet will contain all the whether you have done all the prerequisites or not verified. Okay, when all those things are done, as I have mentioned, static IP assigned, SSH is open, NTP services are enabled, VM network port group is created with VLAN IDS management network. It is going to validate all those things. Okay, and you have to manually validate as well. Now, when you deploy first your management workload domain, one thing is mandatory, you should have a vSAN. Okay, you cannot have a management workload domain which is not on vSAN. So for management work domain, primary requirement for storage is vSAN. After that, the next VI workload domain that you guys are going to deploy, it can have storage as FC, fiber channel, and vSAN and NFS and all those things. Okay, which we will see in detail later. So remember this, your management domain has to have minimum 4 nodes and it should be vSAN for management. Okay, so far any question, anyone?
There are a few questions, but those are
Okay,
being answered on chat.
Okay, thanks, Sid. Okay, so VI workload domain, you can have number of storage, which is called VMware basically call them, principal storage, and then you can have supplemental storage. So principal storage during the deployment, and then supplemental storage, which you can, say fiber channel, you have deployed VI workload domain as a vSAN as primary principal storage, then supplementary storage, you can also use fiber channel. Though at VI workload domain, you can directly deploy fiber channel as well, vSAN as well as a principal storage. So remember this thing.
There's a hand raised by Sheikh. So do you want to take a question now?
Yeah, sure.
Sheikh, you can unmute yourself and then ask your question. Sheikh, if you're listening, you can unmute yourself and ask a question, or you can post it in the chat window. I think
Okay,
let's.
I'll move ahead. Okay, so what Cloud Builder will do it will deploy your SDDC managers. Once your management domain is deployed, okay, vCenter is deployed, NSXT is deployed. Okay, these are all automation done by Cloud Builder. Okay, till 4.2 as well, you have to deploy, if you are, there is something called AVN network for vRealize stack. So what happens, it creates edge node as well, NSX edge node, then you have to give NSX edge node details as well. Okay, so you have to prepare the entire networking as per, as requirement. Your, BGP pairing should be prepared. Your top of the rack should be prepared. Everything should be prepared. You should have all the details before deploying. Okay, with 4.3, VMware has given option to just deploy, vCenter, SDDC manager through Cloud Builder, and NSXT manager. Now deploying AVN and Edge can be done at day 1 operation or day 2 operation whenever you want to do it. But suggestion is to use this network for your vRealize stack. It will give you, more. It will give you, more optimized experience, and it will also give the, high availability scenario where your network segment is stretched. Your vRealize stack is on, which is called cross region segment. Okay. Remember that cross region segment, and through that cross region, whenever your one side goes down, all your environment will be up in other side. So you don't have to, do the entire things of recreating and other things. Again, if that is not deployed initially, if you are, hopefully, I don't think anyone will deploy for what to or anything. There is, ideally, you cannot do, NSX based, overlay based deployment, but there was a KB published by VMware where you have to make, some manual changes and then pull in everything. Again, that is out of scope of this decision. But remember, with 4.3, you only need, vCenter, NSXT IP, vCenter IP, and IP details. With rest of before, if you are going with 4.2 or anything deployment, some organization always want to go with N-1 or N-2 deployment rather than the current version. So in that case, you will have to get all the details beforehand if you want to utilize your vRealize stack basically in automated fashion. Now I'll show you the deployment difference between both the seats right now. So again, this sheet, you don't have to touch it. You don't have to touch it basically. Sorry, you have to touch it for licensing and all those things, but not about, size and all those things. It will give you have to fill in all the licenses here for ESXi, for vCent, and vCenter, and NSXT, okay, and SDDC manager. So fill in all those licenses, okay, ensure licenses are correct. After this, you have to fill in all the minimum requirement passwords herein. So one suggestion is not to use typical, which organization use passwords auto-generated through some tools. Use something very easy, which is, fulfilling the minimum requirement of these particular password policies. What you can do once your deployment is done, then you can change it through SDDC manager. Okay. All right. So initially till 4.2, you might find, you have to have minimum, 7 networks, 7 routable network that you might require. Okay. Remember this thing as well. Okay. You need to have all these routable. Now here you are seeing, is my screen visible? Is these IPs and ranges are visible or not?
Can you zoom in a little bit? It's very small.
Okay.
Piyush, there is another request which has
Mhm.
came from Abhishek. He is asking, can we see the architecture before we move forward furthermore?
Just a minute.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, so right now what I'm talking about is this part where you have vSAN ready nodes for management. Basically, this is going into to top of the rack switch, and we have as per VBD, this is using 225 GB NIC. You deploy your cloud builder somewhere. You have the deployment checklist, which I have shown you, and once you feed it into OVF, it validates and start deploying. So it will deploy all the required components like vCenter, NSXT, and all other things. So far, architecture-wise, I'm discussing only this part. Okay, we'll come to VI workload domain later. This is going to contain all the management component. Okay, so it will deploy SDDC manager, vCenter, and NSX manager. All right, and this is basically overview of your management domain. On top of that, whatever you deploy, remember this thing, whatever you deploy, your VMware component, they are going to get deployed on basically on management workload domain. So plan your management workload domain accordingly. We have seen customer where they have initially thought, hey, since it is going to be just simple management component, it ends up using a lot of resources because of when vRealize suite start coming in. Okay, so plan that accordingly because when obviously you are going to use some of the vRealize tool, which I think most of you are using in. Same is the case with VCF, even if you have not right now not decided, but take some capacity requirement in consideration before going through it. Again, I will share one more link. VMware has also given one new link where similar to vSynthesizer, now we have VCF capacity planning tool. So based on a requirement, you can also analyze what is the storage capacity you are going to need for your management cluster. And once management cluster is deployed, SDDC manager takes over. After that, you have no need for cloud builder. You can delete it. And if you have multiple instances to be deployed, you can keep it. There is a command where you can clean it up and reuse it, because again it's a 20 GB or something OVF, so sometimes it takes a lot of time in some environment. So keep that in consideration. If you want to reuse it, it's fine. If you don't want, you can delete it. Everything will be taken over by SDDC manager here onwards. Your VI workload domain will get deployed through SDDC manager. The component of SDDC VI workload domain will get onto, as I have already told, onto management domain. If you, for every new VI workload domain, a new vCenter will be deployed, and for first VI workload domain, you will have to deploy again the entire NSX component for NSXT manager, and then Edge will deploy in the cluster in the workload domain. But vCenter and NSXT manager, 3 VMs, will get deployed on the management workload domain. Is it clear so far?
There is one hand raised. So
Yeah.
Cheryl, you can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Oh, yeah, thank you. My question is about the storage part.
Yeah.
You said that the VCF will support vSAN as well as FC, right? And the fiber storage, right?
Yeah.
So in such cases, if I have two workloads, can I have this? Can I have a single storage for both the workload as a storage? I mean to say,
yeah. See, again, you have to, when you are saying fiber channel, something that will depend on how you zone it. It will be independent for, VCF or SDDC manager, as long as it is seeing the storage and you are using that storage, ideally, I don't see any issue with it. So yeah, but you can have, the concept is that you can have as a principal storage. Only for the management domain, you will need vSAN as a principal storage.
So that means, as a principal storage, I have to keep vSAN for management workload, but
Yeah,
for the IT workloads, I can have a fiber channel, right?
right. You can have fiber channel. You can have NFS as well. I'll share those details in a few minutes. So what all
Sounds
is
good.
supported?
No
Okay.
problem. No problem.
All right. So this is basically workload domain component, which I was talking. Now your rest of your environment, vCenter, NSX Edge, NSX, these are already for management. Okay. Now we are going to deploy a new workload domain. Okay. Okay. All right. So you see here with new workload domain, vCenter came in for first workload domain and NSX Edge came in. Then we deploy another workload domain and new NSX Edge came, NSX management came in. Now NSX Edge goes, as I told you, in the cluster on the workload domain. Okay. But your vCenter and NSXT manager will go on management domain. So this particular area which you are seeing here is basically showing you the management workload domain containing the component for VI workload domain. This exactly is sorry. This exactly exactly is workload domain, two workload domain deployed. They both are using their own NSX Edge cluster. They are using their separate NSXT manager. Okay. Now the first workload domain will have to have mandatory. You have to have your NSXT fabric installed. Okay. NSXT manager will install on the first VI workload domain and on the management workload domain. After that, for every new VI workload domain, you can share the same NSXT manager which you have deployed for first workload domain. Okay. So you don't need to have, every new workload domain need not to have their separate NSXT manager cluster. You can utilize the first one which you have deployed. Again, this will be case to case basis on the customer, but this is what the feature is. All right, so coming back to the sheet, Sid, let me know if everything is visible, and if not, just please bug me up. So
That's okay.
okay, so these are the 7 networks we are going to need when we are initially going to deploy your management workload domain and SDDC manager and everything. Okay, these are management, vMotion and vSAN. This is pretty much clear. Now there are 2 uplink network that are required for NSXT. Again, this is out of scope of this demonstration, but basically what NSXT needs to talk to other out of NSXT environment, basically north south routing or anything, they need an NSXT need an uplink network. So this will be need a VLAN for NSXT Edge. And now there's something called TAP network, okay, overlay network, which is say you have a ESXi host. Every ESXi host is going to have 2 VMKs, which is going to work in the NSX environment. So they are basically transport node. All ESXi hosts are transport node, and they have 2 VMK IPs that get assigned, which basically powers them to work in software defined networking. So you also need this VLAN ID. One more VLAN you will need. So total 6 here, and 7th is this one. Now with 4.3, okay, I'll come to that again. This number of network will go down for initial deployment. Okay, and this you can do it from later. You can do it from directly from SDDC manager. Even you can deploy it AVN from SDDC manager. You need not to have this planning ready. What happens? Some customers, they are not ready with the planning for the entire NSXT. In that case, it becomes cumbersome for them to utilize right away VCF. So VMware give this This was demand, and we have incorporated it in 4.3, where you can, need not all the network and not the planning. And after your SDDC manager is deployed, you can do things from here. All right, so you can use multiple NIC as well. You can change how many NIC you want to use. Profile 1, profile 2. You have to give details here. Again, if you have, VCF is supporting 6 PNICs, and when you have to deploy, utilize, say your vSAN is on different NIC and your NSX is on a different VDS, you are utilizing 2 NIC, and your vSphere standard switch or distributed switch is also utilizing 2 NIC. In that case, use an API, but you cannot do it directly from here. Even if your numbering is changed, I'm not sure if this has been removed by 4.2 or 3. But we often use, JSON, where everything can be customized. So probably when you deploy, look after the JSON as well, because the numbering is very much critical in Excel sheet. VM NIC 0 and VM NIC 1 is going to use for this particular thing. If you change it, so we want to use NIC 2 and 4 for this one, then I would suggest go for JSON rather than going with this sheet. So you can generate JSON directly from this. You can initially fill all this sheet, and you can submit it to Cloud Builder. And there is a command which you can Google it. You can use that command. It will generate a JSON. You can take that JSON out and again edit it. So JSON file will simply contain everything. You just have to change the things. Okay, now this is overlay tap IP pool, and this is edge overlay. So these two things, remember this. Again, this host overlay needs, you can work in two fashion. You can even use it at DSCP. You can enable your switch label or however you want. Each host will need 2 IP. So plan the subnet accordingly, because this will be too much consuming. Every host is going to need 2 IP. And with 3.2 or NSXT 3.1 or something, you can directly use this as a manual IP pool. This will be created basically in NSXT. Okay, you can use this as well. And if you say no, enable DSCP through your switch or however you want. The host should get the DSCP IP for that. All right. So here you are presenting all your IPs for your host, and vMotion IP, vSAN start IP. This is basically one more network pool that is created in SDDC Manager. Okay, don't get confused with the IP pool. This one, this is for NSXT. This gets created in NSXT, and it is a function of NSXT. Okay, this is something I will talk about, network pools. Okay, this will be coming later, and basically network pools are something which helps you assign the IP automatically, give you the automation capability, right? You will give, say, a network pool will have through 101 to 150. You can extend this in SDDC Manager, and there are again some constant which I'll discuss later. Okay, so everything you will fill in here, all the IPs you need. You basically remember you need 7 routable VLANs, and AVN I was talking about. If you say no, okay, you can deploy it, right? You can deploy it, but after the deployment, if you have to utilize AVN for vRealize stack, it is a very manual process, which VMware has published KB, but not recommended. This will automate a lot of steps, entire configuration of NSXT, and creating the segment, and you can utilize those segment basically for your vRealize stack. So basically these 2 segments will get created. One is for local segment, other is going to be cross region segment, so that basically a stressed network, and this will be local. So any vRealize stack that do not needs to be do not needs that capability of DR in 2AG, you can simply use this, say for vRealize log insight. That is not something you need to get onto your when you have something disaster strike, need to get into upon your second availability zones. Okay, and again, this is something, a network pool name for SDDC, whatever is happening. And This is cloud. Again, these things you can change as per your wish, but remember 7 routable IPs. Now the difference between 4.3, this is for 4.3, I guess. So you see here, we have given this facility. You need not to, worry much about all the 7 networks. You need only 4 initially, one for NSXT host overlay, and these 3 management, vMotion and vSAN. Okay, and again, your deployment parameter seat is phenomenally reduced. If you'll see here, this is for 4.3. Okay, so here you don't see any option for NSXT Edge AVN, which you see in 4.2 or prior to that as well. So your NSXT Edge will get deployed, north-south routing for Edge. This all are these requirement. Okay, you can skip this in 4.3, but yeah, but get ready with it. You anyway need it. So initial deployment will be fairly easy. Any doubts so far?
So please just a quick time check. It's 45 minutes. We have 15 minutes left.
It's going till 1:50, 1 hour 15 minutes. So, all right. Okay, so let me show some live demo rather than since initially it will be. Okay, so this I was talking how to fill it. You need to give all your licenses here and all the passwords. Remember, again, the point to notice, you can use simple password and change it later. You can use thumbprints if you need, so that basically you basically are telling that exactly what hosts we need. You will have to prior log into ESXi host and then fill in those details, SHRA key and thumbprint details here, and then you can do it. All right, so this is how you fill it. And once it is filled up, you are going to, deploy Cloud Builder. So again, similar to any OVF which you are deploying in your environment, nothing is specific. Just ensure the networking is intact. Normally, we use the same network as what we are going to use for management. So it's never an issue for regarding any network things. So. So here, what I told initially, check your ESXi hosts are, uh, reachable or NTP and NS lookup and reverse lookup, everything is working fine. Or vCenter or NSXT manager, everything if you're deploying. Okay, this is the console. The password is the same which you have given during the deployment. You log in through it. Okay, so here you are seeing VCF on DL EMC VxRail. Basically, there when you go through VxRail, they have a different parameter sheet, and the way EMC Dell EMC VxRail gets deploy VCF is bit different from how you deploy in any other vSAN ready nodes. So that you can check. I mean, when you are working with VxRail, you will get to know that. But that is out of scope right now. But yeah, just know that they have a different sheet to be filled in, and you have to select the right option, whatever you're doing. Now, these are all the requirement which I was talking, that your physical requirement, DNS and all other things are playing. Your top of the rack switch is is tagged with MTU of 9000. Your IP range is subnet mask, whatever the 7 routable networks are there are tagged on it. Okay, so all those things are in place. Once that is done, now this is what I was talking about. You download deployment parameter book from here. But say you have decided you are going to use it, you can directly download it from IVMware and prepare in advance rather than waiting for this to get done. You complete it and you upload it. So as I said, here you are seeing two options, either upload as XLS or JSON file. Basically, inside Cloud Builder, it is going to convert your Excel into JSON. So if you have some deviation from VMware recommended thing, like your NIC order is changing, like you are going to use 4 and 6 rather than 0 and 1 or anything, or you are using 6 NIC, then you utilize the JSON file. You cannot do it from Excel file. So this will take some, this normally takes, a lot of time, sometimes 2, 3, 4 hours, depending on your environment. And all these around 177 or 178 steps are automated for you, right? So everything will be done, everything will be deployed. And once it is deployed, you can also keep track if something fails. There is a log file under Cloud Builder. It's where log something. You can go into that log file, check what happens. You will also get the details here, why it fails. And if it is possible, if it is something that is retryable, you can retry directly from the state where it failed. But something like if you have typo or something that has went wrong, you cannot change it, right? Because that is not something that is a technical fault, but it's more of a human error or something. In that case, you will have to redo everything again.
Piyush,
All
there's
right.
a question.
Yeah.
So the question says, I see the deployment parameter is VCF 4.1, whereas Cloud Builder and BrinkUp without AVN is 4.0. So is it the same process for both the version?
Yeah, process is same. So don't get into this nitty-gritty of minor details. Just remember, whatever version you are deploying, download the Excel sheet for that version. Okay.
And
Don't try to use a different one.
Yeah. And there's another thing. Can you share those links and HOLs on the chat window?
Yeah, I'll share everything. I have these things here. So I'll share all those things. Just give me a second. And let me show you how it looks once it is deployed, because that is not in demo. Okay, so okay, Shit, can you see it? See my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, it's visible. Okay, so once your Cloud Builder is done with SDDC deployment, it will give you a link to launch SDDC Manager. Don't get into version, because that is a demo and this is a lab. So I just want to show you, because demo doesn't have this detail. So I'll show you what exactly get deployed. Okay, so when you deployed your initial management cluster, your vCenter get deployed along with your 4 hosts that you have given. They will contain all their vSAN, VMK IPs. Okay, and here if you'll see, this particular, don't get into this lab as a whole. I'll explain. So this SDDC manager is deployed, and this vCenter is deployed. Okay, and this your NSX manager is deployed. Now, since this is a lab, a nested lab, we tweak JSON file to deploy only one single NSX manager. Ideally, in your environment, a 3 NSX manager node will get deployed, not one. Now, for the second, when you deploy the workload domain, your workload domain, you will see vCenter is located on your management domain, VCSS 02A, VCSS 02A. Okay, same is the case with workload domain management cluster for NSX. Okay, don't get confused with this SDDC manager. This is for different use case. Okay, this has no relation what I'm explaining. Okay, so your SDDC manager get initially deployed, your vCenter got initially deployed, your NSX manager of 3 nodes will get deployed initially for your management cluster. And then if you go with AVN, you might also see 2 NSX edge nodes are also installed. The VMs you might see here as well. Okay. For the next first workload domain, you will see vCenter is here and NSX management cluster here. But if you are using, which definitely you have to use for north-south routing and everything, your edge nodes will go into this cluster, your workload domain cluster. Okay. I'll show you. Okay. So this is what got initially deployed. Your SDDC manager deployed your management, basically a management workload domain. Now you can deploy, add cluster and add cluster. With 4.3, you will also get an option for add AVN. Okay, and also new thing, I think with 4.3.1, you can shrink your edge cluster and you can expand your edge clusters. Okay, capacity wise, I forgot to tell you, you can deploy 15 workload domain. I guess 15 plus 1 or 14 plus 1, including management, 15 or 16 total. Okay, now workload domain will have number of clusters. You can go to, VCF maximum as well, because sometimes vCenter is supporting a more cluster or more, storage or something, but you get confirmation from VCF maximum as well. Okay, because SDDC manager its own capacity to manage, number of VMs and clusters and all those things. Otherwise, it gets overloaded sometimes. I have seen environment where customer is deploying, 10 or 12 workload domains with around, maximum amount of ESXi host that is supported by SDDC manager or that version of VCF, and seeing, lot of lag and everything, because they have crossed that limit. So obviously the recommendation is to upgrade. One more thing, from 3.x to 4.x direct upgrade is not possible. Okay, you have to deploy a fresh 4.0. You will then migrate your workload to a new version. So far, I'm not sure if we are going to get on-premises upgrade as well, in-place upgrade as well. But as of now, it is not there. So those who are planning for 3.10 or 3.x to 4.x, they will have to work with VMware as of now, because the process is a bit complicated. I'm not sure if VMware has publicly given the entire things, but yeah, there is no direct in place upgrade as of now. Now this is the SDDC manager. Your workload, your initial management workload domain is deployed. Everything will be taken over from there to SDDC manager. You don't need cluster for you don't need Cloud Builder now. So this I was talking. Somebody was asking, like, yeah, you can have vSAN, you can have NFS, and you can have VMFS on FC. And I think with 4.3 they have iSCSI support, but that iSCSI is directly for vVol, not iSCSI as a the way generic iSCSI. It's basically to give you vVol capability. So this is for workload domain. Okay.
Question.
Yeah.
Sorry, there are two questions basically related to the same thing. So the question is, how can we expand our management node, management workload domain in case if you want to add more nodes, or Second question is that if one of the host and management domain goes bad and we need to replace it with the new one, how can we do that?
Yeah, you will have to replace it with new one, or if it is, a disk has gone bad, replace the disk or whatever, depending on a scenario. Now, again, if it is a product that is giving the entire capability of managing the data center, then in that case, obviously, you can, in fact, there is, I forgot to explain that. Basically, VCF, two types of structure that it support. One is consolidated, other is standard. So right now, when I'm talking about everything, it is for standard, which is production grade recommendation. Consolidated structure in which only the management workload domain get deployed, and you can add more cluster onto workload domain, and or you utilize the same cluster. Basically, you will have resource management quota there, but yeah, it becomes cumbersome when you try to go to a standard architecture from consolidated. The problem is your NSX, IP, and all other segments need to be properly planned. Rest of the thing is fairly easy because you just have to deploy a new workload domain, and again, you'll become a standard architecture. Now,
And if you have to add more nodes into management
yeah,
domain, how
yeah,
can we
that
do
is just, yeah. So that is where I was coming. Number of hosts you see here 4, right? So here you have something. Go to clusters. So you see this option, add host. This is for every cluster, right? So if you want to increase, you can increase. Remember, the recommendation and support is for homogeneous per cluster and heterogeneous between different cluster. So you can have different your vSAN ready node. If you are using, obviously in management you will have to use, you can have heterogeneous in different cluster in VI workload domain or anywhere. But per cluster, like any vSAN environment, if you have worked on vSAN, you don't mix and match different type of vSAN ready nodes. So remember that as well. Okay. So this is how you can increase. Now I am also going to cover, let me, again, I think I have explained the concept. Let me quickly go with the concept of workload domain deployment. I was talking about network pools, right? So this is something network pool. What happens normally when you create a new workload domain, you will create a new network pool, right? Your IP ranges, your subnets will be different. So network pool will basically contains your vMotion and vSAN IP ranges. If you will see here, it will give you for NFS, vMotion, and right now with 4.3, I think it will give you iSCSI option here as well. Okay, till 4.2 or 1, it will give you these 3 options. Now to automate the deployment, what will happen? You are going to create a new VI workload domain, right? From where it will take the IPs, you will only give the management IP when you are installing your ESXi, right? Rest of the thing will be done by SDDC manager when you are creating cluster, adding host to the cluster, creating workload domain that in turn will create a new cluster or new workload domain. One cluster will be created initially. After that, you can add more cluster into it. Okay. So here you will give all the, yeah.
Piyush, we are out of time and I can see people are also dropping off. Do you want to take a pause here and then continue with the part 2 of it, or?
Yeah, sure. I'll just quickly do that.
You can summarize the session.
Okay. So yeah, what we have learned so far in today's session. Just quickly give me time. Yeah. So initial deployment. What is the requirement? Your sheet. Cloud Builder OVF. Okay, that in turn will deploy your management domain, and which is based on vSAN. Okay, and SDDC manager and NSXT cluster. Okay, from there onwards, your SDDC manager will take over for adding host into the cluster, adding host, adding new cluster into a workload domain, adding new cluster, and adding new workload domain. Okay, this is one thing. Every new workload domain will have its own vCenter, and first workload domain will also have NSXT manager cluster. Okay, you can use this NSXT manager for, if you want, as per the requirement. You can use the same NSXT manager cluster for every new workload domain here and after second workload domain. Either you can decide to create a new one, or you can use the existing one. But first workload domain will have its own NSXT manager. Okay. With 4.3 initial deployment, you do not need your NSX edge details and AVN network details. That can be done by SDDC manager after the deployment. Okay, before that, you will need to plan it in advance for your, we realize your deployment and anything for your north-south routing or anything. I think that's pretty much I can cover right now, since the time is slow and VCF is itself was used. Any doubts so far, guys?
Hi, Piyush.
Yeah.
Regarding the management domain, so far from the Excel sheets, we have been using the networks from the physical network. None of them are overlay. When it comes to ESXi or VC or all the management components we are using. So here it deployed the NSX manager, right, in the management domain. So how we will create the transport zone on this network where this?
I think I explained this. The TAP are overlay network for creating transport node, and for edge also we have overlay network. This edge TAP is also there. So see, overlay network will, when you deploy your edge and other things, initially you need 7 routable network. After that you can create on your own. In case you are deploying AVN, okay, that you need not to configure, just to plan it. This is not in this sheet.
Yeah, I got that one.
Got
My
that?
question
Yeah.
is from the management network, right? Management domain, we are all having only the management components, but actual workload is going to come to my workload domains where I have all the VMs. Maybe if I have a brownfield environment, if I want to migrate or if I want to put new VMs, application VMs, that is where my requirement of NSX overlay network comes, which is workload domain. The overlay network, do we still create a overlay network here and use it?
Yeah,
Because
see, okay, so this is only deploying management. Okay, whatever will go, it will go in your workload domain. When you deploy a workload domain, you will have again the similar option, deploy your NSX environment. Okay, you will need to plan the IP ranges for it, and then after it is deployed, you can create the segment, whatever needs to be stretched or however you want to manage. Say you are going to use SCX for migration. Okay. Then again, it will be, a complete detailed discussion on that. But yeah, once you can deploy your NSXT manager and edge nodes to provide north-south routing automated, and then your specific network requirement, you will have to create manually.
Okay, that is on workload domain.
Yeah.
Okay, it has its own management like NSX manager controller, and it's complete different NSX setup.
Yeah,
but the usage of NSX setup on management domain is very minimal, right? Since we don't have any workloads there.
Yeah. Management is strictly, see, in consolidated architecture, people might use it. It will deploy your NSXT manager, it will deploy your edge node. Then after that, you can utilize NSXT manager like in any other environment to create segments or whatever you want, tier 0, tier 1. Initial tier 0, tier 1 will be created automated as per Excel sheet. If I have shown you an Excel sheet as well, right? Your tier 0, tier 1 router will get created. And that is why you have that uplink network, right? For 4.2, right? If it is not there, initially in 4.3, you can leave that as well. And then you can, through SDDC manager, you can deploy it. Okay.